Hey y'all, I want to make a Kirby Air Riders city trial tips and tricks video because I see stuff out there that I don't know I agree with, so maybe you'll agree with me or maybe you'll agree with them, but this is from my perspective. I've played the game every single day since it's been out. Last time I checked I was at 70 hours, but I think now it's probably more like 80 or 90. And by the time you watch this, probably many more. Basically, the perspective I'm coming from is I like to play as a big bully, big offensive bully, and I apologize to anyone that I have bullied because it's brutal in Kirby Air Riders. It's brutal in City Trial when you get knocked off your bike. It's like the worst thing in the entire world. But Sakurai made the feedback too good. When you get the kill on somebody, it feels way too good, and that feedback is what I go after in the game, to the point that sometimes I won't even try and transition off of the big bully vehicle into like a more all-rounder, to like, if I don't know what the event's gonna be, just because, you know, I'll take the risk if I can get a dust up, or the battle chariot's good at most events, just not the flying ones. So I guess let's start from the top. Character selection. Sorry for the video quality too, like the handheld lo-fi. I don't got the like capture card and everything to upload. I'm just sitting, in my car, because this is a good time where my child won't run onto the video and start screaming about Rick. Character selection, I have not extensively tried all the characters, so you can take what I'm saying with somewhat of a grain of salt, but let me tell you my progression that I went through my mains. I was maining, I think it was Bandana Waddle Dee, and then Gooey, and then Taranza, and then Knuckle Joe, and now I've settled on, after Knuckle Joe I went to Crash Kirby, Yellow Kirby, and then now I've settled on Rick. And for most of that, you can kind of see that, like, I started off like more balanced people, and then I kind of went towards like heavy offense, because I think that is first of all, it's a very fun way to play the game, but it's also, I think, a very like strong way to play. Hypothetically, maybe later on I'll just like find out that going quick and nimble and like getting everything and avoiding everybody is better, but for now this is what I'm doing. So character selection, I think in this game there's actually a lot of like pretty good characters. I don't think you need to feel like you're getting railroaded into one character or another. It could be that your favorite character is just kind of weaker than like everyone else and is not that good. But I've seen some takes that it's like how good your character is like 100% dependent on their special. I don't agree with that at all, but a good special really helps. So for example, like Crash Kirby's special is pretty dang good and pretty dang useful, because you just like fire it and forget about it. Like it's done right away, and you'll get a kill or you won't. You'll bully someone and you won't. But he doesn't really have the stats that I'm looking for, the stat spread, because I like to go a little harder than that. But I do like to play him, especially in a chef's hat. Very cute. So you, I think, should probably feel comfortable picking whichever character you really like. But from the perspective I'm going at it, I'm going from like the high offense perspective. So from that perspective, when I first played Taranza, I was like, no one's better than Taranza. It's over, that's the character. But then I tried Knuckle Joe, and Knuckle Joe has a better special than Taranza. And he has the auto attack, which can be helpful, especially early on. And you can get some good kills with like his special. If you do like the charge up punch after you get some offense patches, it's pretty good, but it is a little bit hard to use because it's kind of precise. But I've settled on, for right now, unless I, you know, experiment with the characters more and find someone I like better, I am pretty sure that Rick is like just a little bit, just like a bit better than everyone else. I've seen people say that Meta Knight is the best. Meta Knight and Starman are like the top tier, I think, because they can fly up to the island in the sky early, but I don't think that's really that hard to do before everyone else, even if you're not Meta Knight or Starman. If I prioritize getting to the island in the sky, or the garden in the sky, whatever, sky garden, I can usually do that before everyone else. But it's not super a priority for me. I just do it if I can. So for me, character selection, I would say personally go as heavy as you can without it screwing up your life. Like, I would love to play as Rocky, but I think he's just a little bit too chonky, and so his steering is kind of a little bit difficult. And you know, you still have to be able to like get around and get what you need to do, and etc. And I think probably his special's not quite as good as Rick's either, even though it is kind of good. So the reason why I think Rick is so good is, first of all, he's really offensive, he's really strong, I think he's got a lot of weight and everything. Top speed, he's got what you need stats wise. His handling's not that bad. Usually for the early section of City Trial, where you are, you know, you're kind of going around and getting the patches that you need to get, he's usually up to the task, depending on what vehicle you can find. And his special is really, I think, the thing that sets him a little bit above, because his special is good at basically everything. So you have some specials that are good for kills and some specials that are good for mobility, but he has a high mobility special that's good for kills. So basically you can just run around and collect all the boxes you run into really quickly. And you can also use his special to, like, while you're doing that, if you run into people, you'll kill them and bully them pretty easily. I would say do not try, don't like just go around only trying to bully people, because I find in this game, maybe it's just me, but when I try to do that, it doesn't really work out. And it only works out as like a secondary goal. Like if I'm collecting things and I see if I see someone on the way to collecting things, quickly run into them and try and bully them. But don't like chase down for like long periods of time, because you'll just end up getting in your own way and not getting the stat patches that you need. Okay, so that's Rick. And so, but basically what I'm gonna say for most of this should apply roughly to all the offensive-minded characters. So you got your character, okay? For the star, whatever. When I start out, what I'm looking for is something that will help me collect things. So I'm looking for a high mobility option, because I'm using a fairly heavy character. So if something's not decently mobile, then it's a problem. So if I can find, for me personally, the gold standard of collecting items in City Trial in the beginning is the Swerve Star. You might hate it, I don't know, that might be like a love it or hate it thing, but for me that's like, it's fast, It goes exactly where it needs to go. You just park right in front of a item box and hit it. Or you park in front of the crystals and hit them. So the Swerve Star is great. Let's see, what else do we do? The Wagon Star is pretty good. The Slick Star can work, but it likes to bounce off things, so that's a problem. There's a third really good one. Oh yeah, the Wheelie Scooter. I would say if you could get the Wheelie Scooter or the Swerve Star, those are best. The Wagon Star is also really good, but basically what you're looking for is something that will let you park in front of an item box or a crystal without like bouncing off. Because like if you use like a chariot or the I don't know, you use basically a lot of things will, like the tanks, you'll aim towards something and you'll boost and you'll hit it and you'll bounce off, and it is hard to be able to slow in time, because that's the I think that's the bulk of the early game movement strategy, is you need to be able to slow down quickly out of a boost. And I think the heavies also help with that, because I've heard that that's related to the boost stat, but I believe it's also at least partly related to weight. So if you have a high weight character, they'll be able to slow down quickly. So you'll do a boost and you'll be able to slow down quickly before you get to the item that you want to hit. And the most important thing, maybe like the single most important thing in City Trial, is doing that, slowing down right before an item so you can hit it. And if you're just slightly out of range, use the like crawl, like holding A and moving forward a little bit and then hit it. And if items are in close proximity, don't reboost, just turn a little bit and do the crawl to the next thing, but that's only if they're really close. That's extremely important. Sakurai mentioned it on the initial stream, and I don't think he mentioned it just because it's cute that you can do the little crawl forward. It's pretty damn important to use. So the Wheelie Scooter is really good because it basically turns on a dime. The only problem with it is it will bounce pretty hard, but I think the stopping power and the mobility is good enough that it's not a huge problem. Sometimes I will even keep the Compact Star if there's nothing good around, like if the only thing around is like, I don't know, in the beginning is like the Battle Chariot or like a Rex Wheelie or like, I don't know, like I don't actually know how good the Rocket Star is for the beginning. I don't have a lot of experience with the Rocket Star. But you know, if there's something that just won't work that good, just like feel it out, and if you have to, keep the Compact Star. So what I will then do is I will usually immediately beeline for the crystals underneath the like meadow area, and sometimes they're not there, which is annoying. Sometimes they're rocks, which I think is slightly not as good. Sometimes there are some there, but it's closed up, and you know, sometimes they're not there at all, and there's just like the boost pad that you go over the pit. So I try and go there right away because that's like a really important farming spot. Probably a lot of people do this, but I find that I can usually get there, you know, before the crystals are gone. But if you can pick up an item right before the crystals and then drop down, or if there's an item in there, sometimes you can just get all the crystals at once. If you somehow manage to get a special up item, you can just destroy them all. If you manage to get like fireworks or the quick spin or whatever, then you can basically take out most of them before anything. So basically you just park at one crystal, kill it, park at another crystal, spin, 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 park at another crystal, spin, spin, spin. And basically, just be wary if you're on the compact star, if there are a bunch of people around, just watch your health and make sure they're not about to bully you. But I find that's the best first move, unless you're like super duper far away in the start, and you familiarize yourself with the ways in and out of that area, because a lot of the times I'll start on the one side, and usually what I'll do is I'll go up through the ruins and I'll pick up any items that are like directly on the way to the ruins, if there's like a speed up or an offense up or even like a turn up, then I'll pick that up, and then I'll go down through the ruins entrance, the one that you can demolish, and I'll go down that way. And often there'll be a cart, a star in that passageway too. So if you couldn't find anything good up there, or someone stole the one that you were going to go for, that's pretty good too. So I'd say that's like the most important area in the game for me. And after that, depending on how you feel, if you really want, you can go for the Sky Garden. Usually, like, if you can find a Wing Star or one of the other vehicles that can fly pretty good, they don't even have to be like the Wing Star or the Paper Star. They don't have to be like literally the best, but if you got a couple of wing patches, you can go up the volcano and you'll collect some items along the way, and then you'll drop down into the volcano and you can probably get some patches there. There'll usually be boxes down there and other things. And then you boost up through, and hopefully you'll have enough to glide to the Sky Garden. So people who are saying that Meta Knight and Starman are like top tier, I think they're saying it because they can get to the Sky Garden easily, because they have a flying special, flying ultimate, whatever. I don't think that's necessary, and if otherwise you're not finding them to be like the best, then I wouldn't prioritize them for that reason specifically. Unless the meta changes that everyone rushes the Sky Garden and you really do have to do it for some reason, but I don't see it as being a top priority. Also, I should say, so you know whether or not I know what I'm talking about, pretty much every game I get 100 to 120, if not more, patches. I'd say the only games where I get less than that are, you know, occasionally there's a game where you just get like screwed, where just everything goes against you, and it's like, I don't know, everyone was fighting Dynablade and someone launched the laser at Dynablade at the last moment and killed you and killed Dynablade, and everyone got the patches, and then you had to run around looking for a cart for like, that there were none to be found, and it was just a huge pain and you hate your life. So usually I'm getting 100 to 120, if not more, and I would say the majority of the time I'm coming in first. Maybe that's selective memory, but I'm pretty sure that more than 50% of the time I'm literally coming in first among the entire group. But I am also primarily playing the quick match teams, so maybe I just don't know that that's baby mode. Maybe it's baby mode. Maybe all the hardcore people are in ranked matches. But the reason I like the teams mode is because it lets you roam the map before you play, and I find that a lot more engaging than just like looking at people's licenses, although I do like that. I think it's more fun with teams, and I think it's nice that you don't like I think it's cool that you don't pick your preferred stadium, because then you'll kind of have to adjust yourself to what the game, like if you can figure it out, if the game hints you what it is, then you can adjust to that midway. And then if you don't, you might think about doing an all-around strategy. Although, like I said, a lot of times I will just choose the bully option anyways. So you want to start out a certain way. You want to start out with one of the mobility carts, and then usually around the time there's maybe like 2 minutes left, maybe like 2.5, 3, I will, while I'm doing other things, I will look out for a high offense option. And usually for me, that'll be the battle chariot. I also like the bull tank. I don't super like the Rex wheelie. I feel like the handling is not good enough on that. But yeah, I'm usually looking for the battle chariot, because the thing about the battle chariot is the only thing it's bad at is flying challenges. Like, if you get a race, it's really good. If you get a battle, it's really good. It's perfectly fine on button rush and stuff and gourmet race. The thing about button rush is sometimes your stats are just too good and it's like unwieldy, but that's the same with like anything. With any cart, it can be that way. So like halfway through the match, maybe a little bit more than halfway, I will I'll switch to the battle chariot or another, like if it's like the wagon star or the bull tank or the tank star, you know, something that can, I don't actually know exactly what the offense stats are on everything, but something that's a little bit, you know, a little bit meatier. And then I'll bully people along the way. All right, well, there's a lot more to talk about, but like, where am I going next? Because I don't have any notes. So you pick your character, you get your cart, you start out. I would say like the progression that I usually do is like, I'll go to the crystals, hopefully after finding a good cart, but sometimes using the compact star. And then if I feel up to it, I'll go up to the volcano and the sky garden. And then you kind of like rove the zones a little bit, because a lot of the like the ruins can also, like if you pick up like a offensive item and you can like destroy all the bricks in the ruins, that can get you a good amount of items. It's not really that great to just do with your quick spins because they're not as high reward as like the crystals are, but you'll kind of be near that area anyways if you went for the crystals, so that can be like a good like thing to mop up afterwards. And then you kind of like rove the zones. One thing you have to be aware of if you do the crystals early, which is probably the only time to do them because otherwise someone will get them, is an event will come up a lot of the time while you're doing that, and you have to judge for yourself whether that is worth leaving the crystals to pursue the event that you maybe won't get. And I would say the reward rings, usually you can get a couple just like down there. And the pillars you can go up and get because it takes a while for people to beat them. If you want to go up for like Grand Wheelie or Dynablade, you can do that, or you can just sit down and farm the crystals while no one else is bothering you, and then potentially even go up and finish them off. But the one that I would say, besides the ones that don't give you any points, like the, you know, like the fog or whatever, it doesn't really affect you either way other than to potentially be annoying. The treasure stars, you probably, if you've still got a lot of crystals to farm and the treasure stars come up and you're not in a flying vehicle, which you might not be, although like the wing star is also a pretty good early pickup if you're a heavy, just because you can, you know, it's not so bad at turning and you can still use it effectively. If you're in like, you know, like the wagon star or the swerve star or whatever, you probably don't want to go up to break the treasure stars, because by the time you get up there, everyone will have broken the ones that are accessible from land, and the only ones that'll be left will be the ones that are floating in the air. So it's not really worth your time to go up for that. A lot of the times I just won't, because it's just frustrating. With the treasure chest, you can usually find a key and find a treasure chest, and a lot of the time the treasure chest will be in the gemstone area, so you just get a key and come back and do it. The secret rooms, there's a secret room in the gemstone area, so that can be helpful, unless it gives you like all shaved ice or whatever. If it's a stat patch, it's good, and if it's not really worth it, unless you like still have a lot of gems to break and it has like rockets in it or something. I don't know. But God, there's a lot more to talk about that I had in my head, but I don't know what it is now. So yeah, don't constantly try and bully people, just bully them along the way. Usually a lot of time what'll happen in City Trial is like after the initial like wave of farming crystals and or like finding all the scattered patches and boxes, there'll be like a lull and there won't be as many patches and items all around. During that time, I find it's usually a good idea to go under the city into the tunnels. You know how there's like the ramps, and on the other side of the ramp it has an entrance and you go down. The tunnels, I find, they don't often have like a ton, but they usually have something. And if you're already a bit stronger, you can bully people in the tunnels because they're a bit tighter, and so you'll end up naturally having people to run into and spin into and bully. And there's usually lots of items down there, and if you didn't get the cart that you wanted, or you want to switch to a different cart, there's usually something in the parking lot. It might not be the one you want, but very likely there is something down there that's good. So it's kind of at this point that usually I'm trolling, looking for a different vehicle to transition off the Wagon Star or the wheelie scooter or the Swerve Star. Although I can keep the Swerve Star for the entire game. It's just not, not as likely to give me kills. So that's definitely something. So there's 3 points where you want to get a cart. The beginning of the game, you want to get a high mobility cart usually. And then in the mid game, if you're being a bully, you want to get a stronger cart, like the Battle Chariot or the Bull Tank or the Tank. If you like it, you can get the Rex Wheelie. I think that's actually technically supposed to be the strongest offensive cart in the game, but again, I don't favor it because the handling can be a problem. And then toward the end of the game, when there's like 45, 30 seconds left, if you want, you can keep an eye out for then like an all-rounder cart, or like if you got the hint for what the event's going to be, like if you got the hint that the event's a flying event, like you're not going to want to, like in the last minute, you're going to want to make sure you get something else. But generally, unless I know that it's something flying related, lately I will just stick with the Battle Chariot and just hope for the best, because it's good at racing. Or like, the Tank or the Bull Tank. Another good starter star, by the way, is the Bulk Star. The Bulk Star is great because it stops really easily. And so you just like orient yourself towards something, get the boost off, and then stop. It's slow to start up, which is a little bit annoying, but the stopping power is really good for early game farming. So at the end, if you want to transition off, like if you have it on good authority that's going to be a flying event, or you just don't want to take the chance, then definitely make that a priority at the end. I also want to say that I am really, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm really good at the like events where you take down a boss. I find it surprising that people aren't a little bit better, because I actually think it's kind of easy to be good at, to the point where even if my like offensive build didn't work out, I'm still usually like the highest scorer. And it's to the point where like sometimes I'll finish the event and it's like I have like 7,000 points on the boss and everyone else has like 400. And I think the reason for that is because people don't realize the importance of stopping power and how to approach the boss. So when I fight those bosses, I don't just like get a power up and then like pepper them with shots and then get another power up. Although depending on the power up, that's kind of how it works. You want to like park. Again, you want to have the like, you want to slow down. And so basically what I'll do, like if you get the sword, you don't just like zoom at them and sword them and then zoom back at them and sword them and don't zoom back at them and sword them. You approach them and you park right under them and you just attack them with the sword. You stay parked under them, and hopefully you have a cart that's like defensive enough that you can just be there for as long as you want. If you don't, you might just park there for a little bit and then your health will go down a little bit and then you'll go rush and get some like shaved ice or a drink or something. But what I'm doing is if I get the fireworks, I'll like park in front of him and shoot him. If I get the fire ability, I'll do the charge up and shoot it at him, charge up, shoot it at him, charge up, shoot it at him. But I'm not like zooming all over the place. Like if I have the needle, it's a little bit trickier, because to use the needle, you have to press the A button, so you have to release your hold on the boost, and so you'll have to move a little bit. But basically you're just trying to stay on top of the boss as much as possible and just park on him and hit him. And then when you need a new power up, you disengage. If you need a health item, you get a health item during that point. You get the power up and you come back. And you gotta learn which power ups are the best. And I don't know that I can really totally advise on this, other than to say that I really hate the drill for the city trial section, because I find it really frustrates my efforts to like exactly engage with what I want to engage with, because you'll like kind of like miss the box and then you'll have to like turn around and do something. But during a boss battle, I feel like that's like a really heavy damage item, and so that's pretty good during the bosses. I don't like plasma because you've got to wait so long for it to charge up. I don't like jet during that point. So it's kind of like more of what's just like bad to avoid rather than what's good. The fireworks fine. When you're bullying people during city trial and you have a high offense stat, I feel like the cutter is like the best, because you can whip it out pretty quickly, but also it's pretty strong. And so I think on my best dust up, I got like 12 kills. And I think a lot of that was due to the cutter. You can just like, and I think it'll go through people too. So like you can get 2 people with 1 cutter. I mean, I guess you could probably get 2 people with anything, but it's like, you're launching it in a straight line. So it has like the ability to kind of do more than you can do with like the sword. So I don't really know what the best offense stats are for the boss battles, but definitely think about like parking on the boss, because I think that's the difference between me and the people who are just getting a very low score. I don't really know, because I can't like follow everything they're doing, but that's how I would account for it. If they have like a decent build, they should be able to get a lot more than that many points, and I think it's because I park on it. I'm sure there's a lot more, but I'm gonna probably struggle to think of anything, and I've probably gone on way too long, taken up way too much of your time with my like non-gameplay footage video anyways. So yeah, Kirby Air Riders, it's fantastic. I don't know why you'd be watching this if you haven't played it, but it's way better than the review scores would have you believe, because it's an online game, and they couldn't do that to review it. A lot of them didn't play it the way it was meant to be played. So yeah, definitely let me know if you are like, this opinion was whack, or if you have found that, like, you know, high mobility evasion works a lot better than bullying. Like I said, I can get a ton of patches by like farming crystals, doing the other things, and then along the way toward mid game starting to bully people. And also like having high offense will help you with a lot of the like city trial in-game events like Dynablade and Grand Wheelie. And another thing is, if you are so lucky as to get your special or the laser cannon during a Grand Wheelie or Dynablade or Krakow, you know, thank your lucky stars, thank your warp stars, because the best is when you can like use the laser on everyone ganging up on Dynablade, and you just take out like 5 people, or I guess 4 people, because it's, you know, it's the team game, but you like team kill their entire team, and probably also kill Dynablade, because they're all sat up. Some of them will use the park strategy, but some of them are probably just like bouncing off repeatedly. They're all right there trying to kill Dynablade, and you kill them, and that's the magic of Kirby Air Riders, is being a big stinky Rick bully. I apologize to everyone. I apologize because it's the worst. Getting hit off your cart is the worst. I'm sorry. Take care.